So, hi everyone. My name is Moshe. I'm the founder of Privex. Privex is the first private perpetual DEX in crypto and also an AI platform to launch trading AI agents.
Yeah, so they invented vibe trading. You'll hear about this soon. Myself, I'm the founder of COTI. Been in the space since 2017 with COTI. We solve the number one problem for blockchains right now, for public blockchains, which is they are very public and everybody can see what's going on, which is not a great way to do business. So we kind of like do what Zcash is doing, but we do it for all blockchains.
All right, so let's get started. So, Shahaf, I know you have been talking about privacy for years, and now it seems everybody is talking about privacy. So, what's happening right now on the privacy field?
Yeah, well, if you can show the next slide, you'll probably see what Zcash was doing, still doing. A lot of attention in crypto follows price, and Zcash exploded in price. For those of you who spent last year under a rock, Zcash is like Bitcoin, but private. The price surged really high, which brought a lot of attention to the fact that privacy is very important on public blockchains. What we see right now is only the first step, which is private transfers. So if I send you crypto, people don't get to see what I sent you. What we will see next is far more interesting. It's when privacy comes to smart contracts. And this is a reason why a lot of the smart money right now is investing both in research and in networks that build privacy.
Okay, so now let's be direct. What is the real problem with public blockchains as they are today?
Yeah, so as I said, the problem with public blockchains is the fact that everything is public. So strategies, balances. If you made a payment on a public blockchain, everybody can see what you bought, who you bought it from, what you bought in the past. If you vote for something in crypto, everybody can see that, and they will ever be able to see that. Even in hindsight, even 10 years ago, even 100 years from now, people can see everything that you did. If you took leverage, people can see that and hunt your position. In the early days for crypto, we needed transparency so that anybody can verify a public blockchain. With the current state of the art in cryptography, we just don't need that anymore, and we can solve for that problem.
All right, now there is also this confusion when privacy is often treated like secrecy. How do you separate between the two?
Right. So yeah, it's a very well-known misconception when people fear cryptocurrencies and privacy. They feel it's probably illegal activity. Secrecy is when you have a secret that you don't want anybody in the world to see. This is not what privacy is, and secrecy is probably illegal when it comes to sending money around. Privacy is the control of the flow of information. So it means that you get to decide who gets to see what, which is what we have in our everyday life, which is what we have in banking, which is how businesses are built. Now, programmable privacy means that you decide who gets to see what, but you can build apps around it. So you can build an exchange like you guys built with privacy, or you can build all these cool things with programmable privacy.
All right, so can you walk us through how privacy on-chain evolved, like version 1, 2, 3?
Yeah, so version 1 was no privacy. And it's still the case on all public blockchains. When you do things right now on a public blockchains, they are visible, make no doubt about it, okay? So this is 1, no privacy. Step 2 is private transfers. This is Zcash. Step 3 is programmable privacy. This is what we're doing. When you don't just protect assets, you protect logic. You protect a full-on application, which is obviously, the most. This will be the most used thing in crypto, in the next 10 years.
Okay, so Shahaf, who needs privacy? What can you do with it? What can the big guys do with privacy?
Yeah. So, well, first of all, it is very well known that if you were granted privacy, right? If I allowed you to keep your data private, to not show everybody what you're doing the entire time, you would opt in for that. If I already gave you that, you will never give that back. That's proven. Okay, so I say that everyone and everything needs privacy and protection. Okay, now when it comes to use cases in crypto, the obvious thing is trading. When you bid for an asset, you don't want everybody to know what you're willing to pay for because they will front run you. When you have a strategy, you want to protect that strategy because otherwise your competitor will use the same thing. If you took leverage, people may hunt down your position like they do, right? So trading is obviously a huge use case for privacy. This is what you guys are building. People in this room are probably from the real world assets. It is, as you guys know, in terms of just regulation and fiduciary duties, you need to keep clients' information private. You need to keep a lot of the things that you do with real-world assets private, the issuance and all of that, right? So RWA obviously required. Payments. I bought something. I don't want everybody to know what I bought. You don't go around in the world with your credit card statements showing everybody what you just bought, right? If I'm a merchant and I sold you something, I don't want my competitors to know my daily turnover, right? So we can't really talk about neobanks and all of these interesting things and completely disregard privacy. It doesn't work. How about voting? There are people from many nationalities in this room. I bet 100% of you guys, when you vote in your country, your vote, you do it behind a curtain, nobody knows what you voted, right? Why is it that when we vote in a DAO, in crypto, everybody gets to see it? Doesn't make any sense, right? It skews everything. It may corrupt the process. So voting, of course. We can't really talk about healthcare and health information going on chain if it's not confidential. Supply chain, all of that needs protection, and this is why we built COTI. COTI is COTI is privacy.
Okay, so where does COTI sits in this third stage? What exactly have you guys built?
Well, first of all, we are a veteran team, right? We've been in this space for many cycles, for many years. We saw a lot of the ups and the downs. So we kind of like what we built is fortified for that. We are building programmable privacy. So the best way to think about this is that if Zcash or Monero or Dash to that extent are like Bitcoin, but private, so an asset that you can shield and move around privately, COTI is like Ethereum, but private. So it's a chain where you can launch smart contracts and protect the logic, not just the inputs and the outputs, but the logic itself. So you can build a neobank, you can build a voting system, you can build a trading platform, and keep everyone's privacy while being decentralized and on-chain and all of that. We're not limited to our native chain. You can use what we do on any major chain because we want privacy to be prevalent for everyone. Lastly, I would say that we are very fast. Like we are blockchain, from this century. So high throughput, low cost, right? It's frictionless in that sense. We are compliant in how we build things, and we are live. We are already on mainnet. We are already traded on all major exchanges. So this is not just a theory or a scientific experiment. What we do in our daily, our daily schedule is finding teams that want to build interesting products using privacy and help them build this. Whether it's coming from the biggest institutions like central banks we're working with, or teams like Moshe's team, Privex team that are building the first perpetual DEX that allows you private trading.
Yeah, definitely. So
maybe with that in mind, let's talk about you, Moshe. You're sitting in what is the cusp of will DEXs have higher volume, trading volume than centralized exchanges. I know you guys, you're live for 90 days. You already did 3 billion in trading volume. So obviously this thing works. You're doing 250 million a day.
Yeah, more or less.
Not too shabby. And you're doing that right now with the platform that you have right now. So I would love to hear more. And
Yeah,
pass me over this.
so yeah, when we were originally making this presentation, the number was 1 billion. It wasn't so long ago. It's already 3 billion. So I'm very happy that we managed to get an update here. Yeah, definitely. We see DEXs are growing at the expense of centralized exchanges. There are like various reasons for why it's happening. Centralized exchanges, they have some issues. It's custody, not your keys, not your money. From the other side, DEXs, which are growing massively, they fix custody, but they introduced a new issue, which is over-transparency, right? So the idea here is to, on the DEXs side, the problem is that everyone sees everything that you do. Now, think about, trading on stock exchange. Think about trading in the real Web 2 world. It doesn't make any sense that everyone sees everything that you do. All your stop losses, take profit, limit orders. Everyone sees everything you do before you do it. This is a gateway to manipulations, MEV attacks, and many bad actors that are taking advantage of this situation. We see it everywhere. We see it boldly. Now, the industry is moving into a new direction, right? Over-transparency is not good, obviously.
Yeah, and from what I see, transparency solved custody, as you mentioned. Like we replaced one set of problem that comes with centralized exchanges.
Yeah.
The exchange can fail and whatnot, to a new set of problem with over transparency and the fact that everybody can copy you. I guess this is why CZ said that someone should build this DEX like you guys built. So what's next? Where DEXs are going next?
Yeah, so the next evolution of DEX is private execution, right? Not secrecy, but privacy that protects your strategy. It's very simple requests, although it's not happening today. When everything that you do on the DEX is exposed, then the system favors bots and not traders. And private trading fixes that. It's simple as that. It gives traders a fair environment to trade. And the whole industry is going into that direction. We have CZ that was very vocal about it. It's not only CZ, but many industry leaders are talking about the fact that private trading on DEXs is definitely the future.
So what are you guys building? How do you solve that problem?
Okay, so Privex is a private perpetual DEX. It means that you can trade with privacy. So it's very easy. It's like, turning on a VPN. You toggle on a button, you go into a private mode, and everything you'll do will be private. Okay, you decide what do you want to share and what not, what will be exposed to everyone and what not. So the privacy thing, the overexposure, over-transparency problem is solved with Privex. The second thing that we have solved is deep liquidity. We're using a very sophisticated mechanism that's called intent-based, and we are basically driving liquidity from centralized exchanges and other platforms into our platform. It's very efficient, and it brings very deep liquidity into Privex. And now traders can finally run their strategies without broadcasting everything they do to the entire world.
So privacy on a perpetual DEX for the first time, and you don't have liquidity issues because you just use centralized exchanges liquidity, but you are a decentralized platform.
Exactly.
That's nice. I see an AI angle. I guess we'll get into that. Take me through some metrics, if possible. Like, I hear you guys are doing well. Like, how does it look like?
Yeah, so we are already doing around 250 million daily volume. It's growing really fast. The daily averages and everything is growing really fast. In 90 days, we generated $3 billion of volume. So the whole thing is not just theory. It's already happening. The product is live. Adoption is growing really fast. I think there is a real need. There is a real gap in the industry where a lot of traders are looking for, trade and have their privacy on their strategies and everything, but they don't have any place to go to. So we have managed to execute that thanks to the fact that we've built everything on COTI, which uses the technology that allows us not to compromise on performance, which is highly important in perpetual DEX trading. And adoption has been amazing thus far.
Okay, before we jump into AI, that's a critical point you mentioned. So, because everybody's talking about privacy, because there are so many, actions happening right now everywhere, you will hear a lot about private DeFi. I want to challenge that because, we've been we employ some of the world's best cryptographers, like hands down. I'm willing to challenge anybody's cryptographer to mine. When you hear about private DeFi, please check if it's really private or if it's really DeFi, because the sort of things we see out there right now are either centralized, and it's very easy to keep things private if you're building a centralized system, or they're not really private. I can just follow patterns and tell you what everybody's doing, right? You need a very high throughput blockchain with a very unique piece of programmable privacy to be able to do real-time DeFi in a cost-effective manner, in a high-throughput manner, like you would. And from what I know, and again, I'm willing to challenge this, anybody, we are the only chain that has the cryptography that allows you to do this. Everything else is either centralized or very slow and expensive. AI changes everything. Everybody knows that right now. My 75-year-old mother uses ChatGPT, and she never adopted ATMs, right? But she uses ChatGPT. So AI changes everything. How does it affect your business?
Yeah, so it did change everything, and it is changing everything as we progress. This is true. For example, in the past, in order to build an app, you had to be a developer. You need to have certain expertise. Today, you can just build an app using language, using prompt. So same evolution is going to happen in trading. Same thing is going to happen in trading. You can, in the very near future, you won't need very complex strategies implementation. You will just describe with a prompt, with simple words, your trading ideas, and you will get trading execution, right? So the future of trading is all about trading agents controlled by humans. We are moving from you need to build your strategies into you just express your ideas.
So this is what you guys called vibe trading, right?
Yeah. This is what we call vibe trading. Then again, it's not theory, it's a live product. We have more than 500 trading agents actively working and following strategies of real users. And the vibe trading is simplifying a very complex process of creating an AI agent that's meant to trade. So you describe, as a user, you describe your trading ideas, and then behind the scenes, we have a model that runs, very complex data model that runs, and execute the strategy. Agents are running 24/7. They don't FOMO. They're emotionless. They don't revenge trading. They hardly do any mistakes. They follow strategy and they learn and adapt to the market. Every success, every failure is being signaled back to the brain for further improvements. And this is how we think the future is going to look like. It's definitely a very central part of the Privex system. We have seen users generating 10x more volume using agents rather than simply trading because they trade 24/7, right?
Yeah, so that's good news for your team. And again, lowering the bar, like AI lowers the bar to write things, to build apps, to create art, to create music, now for trading as well. I think that's pretty cool, and we're very happy to have you guys on our chain and still Only 90 days, you guys done tremendously well, but still very early. So traders, funds, anybody in this room, go speak to this guy. They seem to know what they're doing. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, please. What we're doing is not using ZK, and by the way, there's still not set standard for privacy tokens. There are like many ideas out there. We are part of the Enterprise Ethereum Alliance privacy group, which has now the mandate to kind of like think about standards and most of that. But what we're doing is not ZK. ZK is very nifty, but very limited. It's only single-party computation. You can't really build a DEX with ZK. And you need to think of a lot of things in advance if you want to do build a system with ZK. ZK is good for transfers, but I think, and of course for scalability, but probably this is what the buck stops.
Just to add to that, sorry, when we were looking for a chain to implement our vision of private trading on perpetual DEX, which is high frequency, a lot of transactions, you need very high performance, you cannot compromise on the performance side, there was no competitor in terms of the technology. I mean, no one else is offering something that could be implemented other than COTI.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, gentlemen. If you have questions, could I ask you to do it in the speaker lounge? Because we need to move on with the next panel sessions. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Let's give our
Thank you
gentlemen
very
a
much.
wonderful round of applause. Thank you so much.